Hello everybody, this is John Halterman and I'm at Health Access today with my friend Jim Harris. Jim, how are you doing today?
I'm great. Thank you so much for coming.
Oh, you're welcome. Thank you so much. You know, for those of you who don't know, Jim is the Executive Director of Health Access, and that's in Clarksburg, West Virginia. And I think Jim has done an amazing job being able to help people in our community that sometimes don't get the health care that they need. Jim, tell me a little bit elaborate on what you're doing here.
I'm glad to. Health Access is a free and charitable clinic. We've been in operation since August of 1992, actually. This community came together with some of the medical folks in 1992 and decided that we needed to provide something for the folks who did not have access to health care at that time. And the doc that really led the charge back in those days said, we're going to put something together from Harrison County to meet that need until the government decides how we're going to really meet the need for those people. So fast forward now over 20 years later, and we're still trying to figure out how to meet the needs of those who are low income and uninsured. And so Health Access really has a mission of providing primary medical care and prescription medications to people who are low income and without access to that care.
You know, that's amazing because, I mean, I think a lot of people take for granted when you have health insurance and you have a family that those types of things can be paid for. But unfortunately for so many underprivileged people, they don't have that available to them. And without Jim's group being able to do something like this, our community is definitely going to suffer. Tell me a little bit more, you know, about who are the people that are involved and what's going on over here?
The kinds of folks, you know, when I came here in 2008, John, I had my own ideas about who would be going to a free clinic. And when I came to my first day at the clinic and we opened up, there were 12 people in the waiting room when we started at 8 o'clock. And I looked around that room and realized that I knew 7 of the people in the room. Wow. I went to church with 3 of them, had no idea that they were getting their health care provided through the free clinic. And so pretty quickly my ideas about who the folks were changed. I found out that they're people who try very hard. 85 to 90% of the persons who come here for care have a job. Some of them have 2 jobs. They struggle to make ends meet, but they're working, so they're not just resting back trying to get a benefit somehow. These folks are actually struggling. We term them the working poor, and that sounds kind of bad, but it really is the truth because their income is low. Our folks have an income of 250% or less of the federal poverty. Wow. So these folks are all designated as the working poor, and then they do not, either they don't have health care at all, they're uninsured, or they have a medical card. Okay. A lot of folks who've received a medical card under the expansion of Medicaid still have trouble accessing a physician.
You know, and that was the question because Obamacare changes. Right. You know, that was supposed to be the thing that really gave these people an opportunity. Did that not fill the gap? I'm assuming there's a big need still for what you're doing.
It really didn't, and here's the reason why. And there are some unintended consequences. I think that the health care reform that occurred with the Affordable Care Act certainly gave a lot more people insurance cards, you know, because we expanded Medicaid in West Virginia. But having that card doesn't necessarily get you a moment's worth of care because you've got to be able to find a provider who will accept a Medicaid insurance plan. Not all providers do. The other thing that happened with those who bought insurance in the marketplace, those were the people who were above 138% of federal poverty, they get an insurance plan, but then they have these out-of-pocket amounts of $3,000 to $5,000.
Sure.
Well, if you're part of the folks who are the working poor, that's hard to come up with to get your first minute's worth of care. You've got to pay those out-of-pocket costs first. So it's prohibitive.
Sure. You know, and that's what we've heard throughout the state of West Virginia is that, you know, it has filled a little bit of the gaps, but there's other, unintended consequences, as you state. And it's very unfortunate because, as we all say, that healthcare in the United States is definitely the best healthcare in the world. It's just unfortunate that not everybody gets it. Now, you mentioned charity. I know that your place couldn't exist without grant money, without fundraising, without a lot of things.
Absolutely.
And so tell people, you know, how can you get involved? Because I think for all of us, you know, we all have a heart and we want to be able to give back, but sometimes we're not aware of such great programs like this. So tell the folks how we can get involved.
So we are a 501c3 charitable organization, and as such, any donations that are received by Health Access are fully federally tax deductible. And then we also every year participate in the Neighborhood Investment Tax Program.
Okay.
So we get a number of credits. This year we got $28,000 in credits. So if an individual or business gives us a donation of $500 or more, they're able to take half of that amount and they get a voucher from my office signed by the development office in Charleston, and they're able to file that with their taxes just like cash.
Oh, wow.
So for West Virginia, there are no breaks in West Virginia taxes.
Sure, no, absolutely.
So either personal or business taxes, the NIP program, Neighborhood Investment Tax Credit, is a great program, and it encourages philanthropic giving in West Virginia. But truly, John, it takes a community to run a clinic like this. It takes a lot of moving parts. Our budget is just shy of $500,000 a year, and that our partners are agencies like the United Way of Harrison County. We receive $75,000 a year from United Way. That's a big part of our budget.
Sure.
The state of West Virginia, we get some grant funding there. That unfortunately that's been cut a couple of times in the last couple of years. So we've had to come up with more local money. Our county commission in Harrison County, $50,000 they're giving us this year.
That's very nice.
And they placed us on the Vital Services Levy, which the voters just passed. So for the next 5 years, we'll have guaranteed funding from the county. Doddridge County Commission gives us $10,000. The United Hospital Center Foundation, $20,000 there. Dominion Resources, another $20,000.
So definitely people are trying and chipping in. It's just that what we're experiencing is there's just so much need.
There's a lot of need, and we've seen an increase. You mentioned those unintended consequences. The other free clinics in our state, and there are 10 of them, many of them have the name Health Right. That's their name, Health Right. So there's a Wheeling Health Right, Charleston Health Right. The whole concept was that healthcare really should be a right and not a privilege. No matter where you live, you should have access to a physician. And we know that if you get good primary care all along, that the cost to care for you are much less than if you don't have access to a family physician or somebody to take care of you. So things like hypertension, diabetes, those things creep up on you. They do major damage to body systems. But if you get medication and you manage those chronic illnesses over time, you can keep those costs down and keep people healthy and working. And that's what we're all about. It's really economic development when you think about it.
Sure. And you know what I think is most amazing? I know you have great leadership skills, or you wouldn't have been able to keep this place open for 20 years. I also know that your heart, for someone to come here every day and to give them of themselves is quite the sacrifice. And so I think it's just amazing that someone like yourself exists in our community, because I know that Jim could take these same skills and have a wonderful corporate job, but he chose to do this, and I commend you for that, because that is definitely something very unique and something we need in our community. Any final words, Jim?
Well, I love what I do. I've said to my board, I would probably do what I do for nothing, because I get a chance to be part of a team that makes a difference. And these are life and death differences in people's lives. I have people that sit in this office and tell me if it weren't for health access, I would not be here today. I couldn't get my insulin. I couldn't get my blood pressure medicine. I had no access to a doctor to help me manage my chronic conditions. So I'm a part of a great team, and we have a small staff of 6 people here. We see 1,600 people a year in this clinic. It's
1,600
it's a big operation. And
Amazing.
we do it with a lot of volunteers. We need pharmacists and physicians and nurse practitioners. We need people who are professionals in our community who want to come and give a few hours. They can volunteer here. So there are opportunities to give financially. There are opportunities to give as a volunteer. We take donations. All of our medications in our pharmacy are donated by Mylan Pharmaceuticals. Marvelous partner.
Oh, absolutely.
So we have a lot of, it does take a lot of community support, and we're very blessed in Harrison County.
Well, folks, I mean, you heard it straight from Jim. We need talent. We need people who can either give of their talent, give of their resources, or be able to give something to help the people in our community. Jim, I thank you so much for everything you've done.
Absolutely.
And Jim is definitely a strong community difference maker, and we appreciate the time you've given us today to share your story. So
appreciate it.
Until next time.